이게 뭐지? 원래 아니고 انا خلاص وقعت
Thank you so much for coming here. It's such a beautiful crowd, such a beautiful room. I wish it was for Amir's wedding or some happier events, but here we are dealing with the darkest moments of life. Before I make any type of speeches or any talks, we would like to thank everyone for coming. And I would like to invite a few of family, friends, and representatives of members of Parliament and the BC Premier to have a talk. So I'd like to invite Cynthia Bender, representative of Jonathan Wilkinson, the Member of Parliament of North Vancouver, and Minister of Fisheries, Oceans and Canadian Coast Guard. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to represent Jonathan Wilkinson, the MP for Lonsdale, and I'm carrying some words from him of condolence to the family, particularly his parents and sister and brothers, to his friends and to your community. It is with great sadness that I read about the death of your son, Amir, on May 4th, 2019. While I did not know Amir personally, I am aware of what an intelligent, gifted, and promising young man he was. He spoke many languages, traveled widely, was well educated, and was devoted to his work in the environmental field. He was a joyful, energetic, and kind individual from all accounts. And he was very young, just 26 years old. It is particularly painful when a young person dies. We expect to outlive our children. As a father, I can hardly imagine the depth of your sorrow at Amir's passing. My heart goes out to you, knowing that Amir will be so very missed by all, and particularly by his loving mother, his father, and his siblings. Please know that I am with you in spirit today as you celebrate Amir's wonderful life and honor his passing. May you always remember him with deep affection, and may his legacy be found in memories of his laughter and kindness. Yours in sympathy, Jonathan. Thank you.
Could I have the representative of BC Premier John Morgan here? Thank you.
عرضتون بخیر دوستان. همونطور که میدونید امیر عزیز در آخرین سفرش درباره خدمت به مردم بریتیش کلمبیا بود. در این مناسبت نخست وزیر جان مورگان، نخست وزیر بریتیش کلمبیا پیامی رو به فرستاده که من اون رو براتون براتون. To the family of Amir Sedghi, please accept my deepest condolences for your loss. My thoughts are with you during this difficult time. By all accounts, Amir had an innate ability to set people at ease. His care for others and his quick humor made him a person that people were naturally drawn to. As a contractor for the BC Wildfire Service, Amir conducted infrared scans of some of the 2018 wildfires, providing greater knowledge to better protect the communities, forests, and wildlife. This work perfectly combined his love for people with the joy he found in exploring the outdoors. With many passions, from traveling to learning new languages, to music and athletics, Amir was an accomplished and admirable person. His joy for life and loving nature could not fail to impact the people in his life, and I'm sure that he will be remembered and missed by many. I hope that you all may find comfort in the wonderful memories you all share of Amir. Sincerely, John Morgan, Premier of British Columbia.
Thank you.
We were supposed to clap after this, right?
Should we?
So since we're going slightly faster than we thought, which is good, I would like to invite one of our family friends, one of the close friends to my dad, Mr. Zhang, come up here for some words. And while he's coming up here, I would like to invite you to see the pictures that Amir put together. It's around 30 minutes of all the photos that we had from Amir. And as you can see, in every picture, he's either showing all signs of joy and life and really his crazy character. It was hard to find all his photos because we had 500 other ones that he was making some crazy faces. So these were the ones that we thought would be okay showing it to you. I'm going to ask invite Mr. Zhang to come up here. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to Mrs. Marziyeh Beyhaqi Mr. Abbas Sedghi, Mrs. Mahshid, and Mrs. Ammar and Amir, mother, father, sister, and the brothers of late Amir Sedghi. Thank you for offering me this opportunity to be one of the orators of this very special valued life ceremony of the beloved Amir Sedghi. Also, I am welcoming you all in general and welcoming you in particular all of the friends, colleagues, and classmates of Amir Sedghi. I also do appreciate the presence of Sintana Woodbury and also Nancy Borgal. Nancy Borgal as the spouse of the late Lord Borgal. Before starting, I am asking you as a sign of respect to those families who have been perished on the 4th of May, stand up and be in stillness and silence for 1 minute. Please be seated. As time is so short and they instructed to me so short amount of time, and we have a lot of non-Iranian speakers and most of you are Farsi speakers, then actually I don't know how to start. However, what I decided right now is that I start with Farsi, switch to Farsi, and maybe less than 10 minutes I will speak or something around that. Then, if there is more time, I switch to English again. And finally, I have a suggestion or a proposal for all you to sign it right today, or maybe whenever you can. So I start with Farsi. My apology to non-Farsi speakers, that I know there are a lot, in particular to Mrs. Pinnacle and Mrs. Borgal. And for Farsi, usually I start with Ferdowsi. All Iranian and maybe a lot of non-Iranian know me. به نام خداوند جان و خرد که از این برتر اندیشه بر نگذرد، خداوند نام و خداوند جای، خداوند روزیده رهنمای، خداوند کیوان و گردان سپهر، فروزنده ماه و ناهید و مه. این جلسه به مناسبت درگذشت جانگداز و غم‌انگیز جوانی رشید، کارشناسی تحلیلگر، آزموده حرفه‌ای، شادروان امیر صدقی، فرزند برومند و مدیر ارجمندمان جناب مهندس عباس صدقی و همسر نازنینش مرضیه بیهقی تشکیل است. امیری که در طفولیت آرام و خوش اخلاق بود، دیروز نوجوانی بالنده و امروز جوانی مستعد آماده به پیشرفت. ولی حالا که جوانی برومند اول زندگیش بود، مواجه با حادثه غیر مترقبه گردید. هیچ کس بهتر از حافظ بزرگ شرح حال او را بیان ننموده. دلا دیدی که آن فرزان فرزند چه دیدن در خم این تاق رنگی. به جای لوح سیمین در کنارش، فلک بر سر نهادش لوح سنگین. و هیچ کس بهتر از شیخ ابو سعید ابوالکلام بیان حال پدر و مادر داغدار او نبوده و نیست. میگوید از سینه صدای ارغنون می آید و از دیده به جایش اشک خون می آید. در شام فراق نالم از دل تنگ، آغشته به خون دل برون می آید. امیر ما دانش آموخته‌ای چنان مستعد که توانست در 24 سالگی کارشناس حرفه‌ای در رشته‌ای که به پرسیشن وکتور ایریال فوتوگرافی معروف است و آنالیزیس درآید. در این تخصص به عکسبرداری هوایی پرداخته و این عکس‌ها پیکچرهایی رو دیولپ میکنه که به اونها پیکچرها پرسیشن گفته میشه. این عکس‌ها قابلیت تبدیل به نقشه‌های کاربردی با هر دقت و تولرانسی که بخواهند در بر داره و حتی کاربرد علمی برای ذرات فوق‌العاده ریز که اونها را نانو پارتیکلز میگویند که کاربرد آزمایشگاهی داره. این رشته اخیراً دیولپ شده و امیر یکی از متخصصین این. اما امیر ما به دلیل عشق به طبیعت و به عشق به فضای زیبای BC تخصصش را در مدیریت اطفاء حریق فارستان‌ها و جنگل‌های BC به کار گرفت. عشقش جلوگیری از آتش سوزی و در صورت وقوع راه‌های ممانعت از گسترش آن و از این مهمتر نجات جان انسان‌های گرفتار در حریق بود. به جز آنچه برشمردم به 5 زبان مسلح، به راحتی محاوره، موزیسیانی زبردست و با آلات متفاوت موسیقی قادر به کار بود. او جوانی از زمره جوانان نسل دومی ایران زمین بود که میرفت بر تارک نسل دومی های موفق و بالندی ایران زمین بنشیند. لذا این ضایعه رو برای آخرین بار به مادر گرامیش مرضیه، به جناب مهندس عباس صدقی، مهشید گرامی، عمار و امیر عزیز صمیمانه از طرف خود، از طرف شما حضار محترم و از طرف سازمان‌ها و شرکت‌هایی که بسیار بسیار حمایت و واقعاً دلداری دادن را عرض می‌نمایم. تسلیت خدمت همتون میگم. اما ای حسرت و افسوس، ای دریغ و صد دریغ که آفریدگار جهان هستی را چنان سامان داده که بر اساس خواست و آرزوی ما عمل نمی نماید. و الا چرا باید امیر نازنین در راه مأموریت، اون هم در روز تعطیل، اون هم مأموریت مشترک با دیگران، اون چنین به سادگی جان به جان آفرین تسلیم نماید. مولانا میگه این برای پدر و مادر و برادر و خواهرش واقعا من میتونم که همین کار رو میگه. دیگران چون برون از نظر از دل برون، تو چنان در دل من رفته ای که جان در بدن. جناب صدقی، همکاران عزیز، حضرت عالی همه میدانید ما به هنر مدیریت آقای صدقی عباس اذعان داریم و ایشون نفوذ این قضایا رو و رموز مدیریت رو به خوبی میبینن. بنابراین ازشون میخوایم که با صبری که شایسته مدیران استراتژیک است این واقعه رو به راحتی از سر بگذرونن و برای تسلای دل خانواده یه شعری از ادیب نیشاپوری به خدمتتون تقدیم میکنم. او میگوید که جهانگو همه آتش و دود باش، تو در آتشش صندل و عود باش، چه تو بگذری عاقبت زین جهان از تو میرد نه تو از جهان. در این حال سرمایه و اون مطلب گرانبهایی رو که امیر عزیز برای ایرانی ها و به خصوص برای خانواده و ارمغان گذاشته است، این یک ثروت بزرگ و یک سرمایه و ارزشی معنوی بالا نیست که این خانواده میتونن بهش ببالن و به راحتی این مسائل رو از سر بگذرونن. باز 2 مرتبه سعدی میگه خیال روی تو در هر طریق همراه ماست، نسیم موی تو پیوند جان آگه ماست. و واقعا اون سرمایه، اون پیوند زندگیه که امیدوارم این خانواده با توسط به انرژی که از این پیوند میگیرن بتونن به راحتی مطالب رو پیش ببرن. از این گذشته شکی ندارم که در فرهنگ چند گانه و ملتیکالچرال کانادا و به خصوص ونکووری که درش زندگی میکنیم و مردم مهربان آن، امیر هرگز نمرده و نخواهد مرد. یه پروپوزالی هم در خدمتون داریم که در حقیقت اسم اون رو به دیگر پایونیرها رو جاودانه خواهد نمود. باز هیچ کس بهتر از شعر معروف سعدی نصرابی است که سعدیا مرد نکونام نمیرد هرگز، مرده آن است که نامش به نکویی نبرد. من وقتم محدوده و فقط یک تکه کوچیکی به دلیل اینکه میخوایم پروپوزال خدمتتون بخونیم دلیل اون رو میگم. اگر وقت شد و ایونت منیجر ما آقای امار خان اجازه دادن من سویچ میکنم به زبان انگلیسی. این اواخر همه فکر و ذکر امیر انجام و اجرای هرچه زودتر پروژه مبارزه با آتش سوزی های بیسی به طریق هوشمند. او سر از پا نمی‌شناخت که انجام آخرین مأموریت یعنی همون عکسبرداری های هوایی را انجام دهد، کاری که از خطرات آن آگاه بود. اما امیر مرد خطر و کارهای دشوار بود، مأموریتی که آخرالامر به قیمت جانش تمام گردید. لذا میگوییم امیر صدقی یک صد شکن یا پیونیرها را ترجمه نزدیکش به فارسی پیشاهنگ است و تمدن بشری همه می‌دونیم و پیشرفت علوم همیشه و در همه جای عالم وامدار پیشاهنگان است و تمامی جوامع بزرگداشت آنان را عزیز دارند و میشمارند و خاطرشون را زنده نگه می‌دارند. این زنده نگه داشتن یا با نامگذاری مناسب یا با برپایی تندیس و به این ترتیب قدرشناس فداکاری‌هاشون می‌شود. الان من نمیدونم چقدر صحبت من طول کشید. آقای امار خان کجا؟ اگر وقت من ادامه بدم به انگلیسی یا وقتم تمام؟
یک 2-3 دقیقه دیگه اگه وقت هست بشه.
2-3 دقیقه. حالا من اگر اجازه بدین شاید 5-6 دقیقه. Okay. Sorry about, non-speakers Farsi. Sorry about, I apologize. Maybe it was boring for you, but it was not that long, maybe less than 10 minutes. As a matter of fact, 20 days ago, Sunday morning, 5th of the May, with a lot of sadness and grief, I received a text from Amir Sedghi. I know him 40 years now. The text was in Farsi. I read it. I puzzled out. I read the text. I confused. And finally, I understood that the beloved son of Amir has perished. The time was 4th of May, 8:45 a.m. in the Smithers area near Barwig River. Amir was with 2 colleagues. One of them, Lord Borgal also unfortunately passed away, and they were working with each other very, very closely. Therefore, on behalf of all audiences, I say sincere condolences to Mrs. Borgal and to Marziye and to Abbas, their father and mother. Here is a very short story of Amir. He was born in Iran, Tehran, in 1993. He was 26 years old when he perished. He did some part of his early study and education in Iran, and in spite of the fact that he was accepted to go to Tehran Talented School, he moved to Canada. He moved to Canada as an immigrant while his father Abbas was on duty in Iran as the head of the executive department of Petrochemical Iranian organization. In Canada, Amir continued his study and he honored Bachelor of Science in International Business. As his career, he was a data analyst precision vector, where he worked closely with Lorne Borgal. Borgal was the former president and CEO of the Hudson Bay Resort in Smithers from 2005 to 2014. On Saturday 4th, they were flying alongside BC Wildfire, performing aerial mapping and gathering data to analyze images that would help prevent and control wildfire. The aerial photos are pictures of precision for mapping. These maps are guidance to dampen down the forest if it occurs in fire on an intelligent way rather than the extinction in conventional way or regular way. They do it in a sort of blindness. It is obvious that the application of this method and technology is much more efficient, cheaper, quicker, and consequently less damage and better for our environment. And recently, he did the mission that cost his life, and therefore we call him pioneer, and I am not exaggerating. I define pioneers for you. Pioneer is the one who is among the first explore or settle a new area of knowledge or activity, any sort of new first one who does anything in knowledge or activity. In the English language, they call him pioneer, which in Persian or language we say then pishahan. So therefore, we are asking a sort of petition that I am going to read for you, or maybe later Ammar will put in the Facebook, or you do, or whatever you do. It is about 2 to 2 minutes. Can I go?
If it's 2 minutes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the petition that I am sure, sorry, I go to Farsi again. این یه تقاضا و یه درخواسته که جناب دکتر اربابیان، همایون اربابیان هم در چگونگی و فکر اون بسیار مدد رسوندن. این رو براتون عیناً میخونم. اگر که دوست داشتین وقتی تمام شد قیام بفرمایید به معنای به اصطلاح رأی مثبتتون. پیشنهادی به جامعه ایرانی مقیم ونکوور و به صورتی در خورتر به شهروندان عزیز کانادایی اعم از بومی و مهاجر. از اونجا که امیر صدقی فرزند عباس با دیگر همکارش لورد بورگال در راه انجام وظیفه خطیر روز شنبه 4 می 2019 ساعت 8:45 صبح در حالی که مشغول عکسبرداری مهندسی و کاربردی برای جلوگیری از آتش سوزی‌های فارس‌های ناحیه اسمیترز شمال شرقی BC و نزدیک رود باروین بودند دچار حادثه غیر مترقبه گشته و جان به جان آفرین تسلیم نمودند. بنابراین ما امضا کنندگان زیر از مقامات مربوط همچون شهرداری اسمیترز یا مقامات مدنی، به لغت مدنی دقت بفرمایید، جوامع غرب قدرت مدنی بیش از دولتیه، برعکس اون که ما ایرانی‌ها فکر می‌کنیم. بنابراین اینجا این دو تا لغت با هم اومده، مدنی به عنوان قدرت مردمی و ملی، قدرت دولتی و دولت مثلا کلمه دولتی به عنوان چیز آفیشال و اون که در حال دولت بیاد نزد همدی امور باشه. لذا مقامات مدنی و دولتی مربوط به پروژه درخواست می‌کنیم قسمتی از فارس را به نام این جانباختگان در راه محیط زیست و فضای سبز استان یا پارک‌های طبیعی ناحیه و یا تریل‌های مربوطه به نام آنان نامگذاری نمایند. در صورت عدم امکان تندیس آنان را در نقطه مناسب مطابق نظر مسئولان امر قرار دهند. اگر با این پیشنهاد موافقین یه قیامه نیم دقیقه من وقتم تمامه یه بخونم انگلیسی شاید
انگلیسیشو بعد بگیم که آنلاین میذارم.
اوکی بفرمایید. خیلی متشکرم. ببخشید اگر من به هر حال ناقص بود حرفم یا عرضم. I do apologize for non-Iranian speakers if I was not precise enough in the English. Time was short and it was rather difficult to switch from one to another. Whatever it is, I hope that you can do.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Zand. I'm just going to give you a little idea of where we're going and what the plan is. Also, Mrs. Zand mentioned something about Lauren, Amir's boss and co-worker who passed away. Some of you might know or might not know Lauren was I could say a friend and a neighbor for 11 years at the apartment that I'm at. And I absolutely loved and adored this man. And I introduced Amir to Lauren actually. So there is a sense of guilt that I'm going to bear with me. But I'm sad that they're both gone. My flesh and blood is gone, but also a man that I look up to. Lauren's wife, Nancy, and son-in-law, Emmanuel, are here. Condolences to you as well. We know your pain, we feel your pain, we share this pain, and I hope we're going to get a chance at some point in life that we can share happier events together, and I want you to know that we miss him as well. So the plan for the whole event, I know we call it, it's kind of ironic we call it a celebration of life. I mean, he's gone, it's not here to celebrate. It's kind of like for us to feel better, to be honest. But the reality of it is that the reason for it is because he was a chameleon. He had so many different talents, he had so many different things that he did in different societies and communities that he was. None of them really knew how many other things he was capable of. A lot of his colleagues didn't know that he was such a great musician. And a lot of other people didn't know that, he spoke 5 languages. Probably most people know that he had the craziest sense of humor, and he spoke various languages and many other things. So instead of me basically standing here and talking, we decided to give a chance to 2 or 3 people just to basically tell a couple of good stories or what they remember of Amir. We're gonna let Paddy's one of his friends from Kaplan University come up here, and then Amir's girlfriend Carolina, and then Amir's twin brother Amid is gonna talk, and I'm gonna do a little speech, and but we're gonna wrap it up, and then there's gonna be a reception. Please. Hang around if you do have time, have some sweet, some food. If you don't eat, it's way too much, it's not going to fit in the fridge, it's already full. Okay. So I'm going to ask Paddy's to come up here. Can you come up here now? Okay, thank you so much.
And Amir was my friend. I speak, negotiate, and align with executives on a daily basis. But this has to be the hardest thing I've ever had to say. There's a bunch of reoccurring statements that come to each and everyone's mind when they think of Amir. He's light-spirited, he's joyous, and he's the definition of a social butterfly. Years of being friends, he's been the best wingman. I haven't been to a party where he didn't meet someone to hang out with later, or that I hung out with them and they asked me where Amir was. And I've taken Amir to a lot of random parties. A great example of that is Jason Yu. Amir met Jason at Kids Beach on a Saturday, sunny like this, and Jason was slacklining. And Amir just walked up to him and he's like, "Can I try this?" And Jason was like, "Sure." And they hit it off and became friends, and Amir ended up bringing Jason to a pub that night to hang out with the rest of us. Jason ended up inviting us to his birthday the next week. And that was the beginning of a cold start friendship with nothing in common but a friendly fellow like Amir. Amir and I became friends in an information systems class back at CapU. We ended up taking a class together every semester ever since. School was easy for him, or at least he made it seem like it was pretty easy for him. We have a bunch of classmates here. They never saw him at the library because he didn't study, but he got good grades. And I just didn't like listening to class. So we would always sit in the back, and I would be on my phone, and he would be on the computer, like searching random stuff. And that's where our friendship started. I would look over his shoulder and see what he's researching, and we would talk about random stuff. And he knew a whole lot about nothing, and it was the best part. Now, I know someone did talk about his language skills, and probably other people will, but I need to point out that it's definitely worth bragging about. French isn't an easy language, and I can speak for that for immigrating to Quebec, and it took me 10 years to speak French. Amir decided to learn and speak French in fall 2012. He carried his little booklet, it's like this big, and he has it for all the languages, all around campus and anywhere he would show up. And he actually stopped talking to me in French because he couldn't carry a full conversation. End of spring 2013, a year later, during our orientation for our second year at university, Amir showed up to me one day and he's like, "Do you still speak French?" And I mockingly answered, and I was like, "Oui." And he started speaking to me in French, and ever since. And at that point, anytime, any place, he wanted to say something somewhat private or maybe a little inappropriate, it would always be in French. Amir's international endeavors didn't end there. He would take any chance, opportunity, or slim second to meet people from different backgrounds. He volunteered at the Center for International Experience at Capilano University, where he would help with many events for international students. This included orientations, monthly events, Halloween, Christmas, Valentine's Day, and assist them in any way he could for them to adapt. He would teach them about taking public transport, where to grocery shop, and what are the social norms in dating in Canada. Obviously, all of this while being a total goofball, because that's who he is. A dear friend that experienced this is Chung, and she might be here somewhere in the crowd. She's very grateful for all that he's done for her and how he's assisted her in transitioning between China and Canada, and to be able to maintain a healthy livelihood in Canada. Amir also spent days contemplating and bringing to action a language meetup. They were ongoing they were ongoing for almost a year. Local people, international students, people with tourist visas from across the world with different cultures and backgrounds would show up to this. And he would always create an environment where they felt comfortable to practice the language of their choice. Even though it was a small group, he never gave up on setting them up and inviting every person he knew at a different place. His last idea was to have them at the beach because it's summertime and people want to enjoy the sun. So they could do that and practice their language choice. Amir, you are a whole lot and will remain that in my heart. For the guidance you brought me, you never let me hanging. You always listened to my stories and my challenges. You did not deserve a quick end to your journey, but the only way to move forward is to carry all the key values you maintain in your life and the vibrance you brought to other people's lives. My name is Pardis, and Amir was my brother.
So much. I'm going to turn the speaker down so we can turn it up in the house. Okay, well, thank you so much. Travis John, it's extremely tough and surreal to come up here and say these words. It's a huge crowd. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. There's a lot of people standing in the back. There's a full empty row up front. Please come have a seat. And there are a lot of seats in the middle if you would like to sit. Now, I would like to ask Carolina, Amir's girlfriend, if she's able to say a few words. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm Carolina Espinosa. I'm Amir's girlfriend. I had the blessing of knowing such an amazing human being. And having him in my life, and also of knowing one of the most wonderful of his faces, his romanticism. He wrote for me lovely and charming words, as well as several poems. In my opinion, it was also a powerful vehicle of expressing love. And right now, I would like to share a small part of that with all of you, and especially with his family. One day, he said to me, "Have a good day, loser." And I answered him, "You know what? I forgot to tell you that I canceled my flight to Vancouver. Sorry." And he said right away, "Okay, I'm gonna walk into the ocean, not come back. But before that, I will put in my room, next to my guitar, a poem that I wrote for you." These are the words that Amir wrote for me that day. I always feel happy. You know why? Because I don't expect anything from anyone. Expectations always hurt. Life is short. So, love your life, be happy, and keep smiling. Just live for yourself. And before you speak, listen. Before you write, think. Before you spend, earn. Before you pray, forgive. Before you hurt, feel. Before you hate, love. Before you quit, try. And before you die, live. Thank you.
to invite Amir's twin brother, who lived with him 26 years and 9 months, to come here and share some thoughts with you. Thank you so much for your courage. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all of you being here. Last night I was looking for the will and strength to write down what I have to say today. And like any other millennial, I was on Instagram. So I found an Instagram post that described the word brother. It said a brother is a person who's there when you need him, someone who picks you up when you fall, a person who sticks up for you when no one else will. A brother is always a friend. For Amir, for me, Amir not only did not fall short of that description, he went beyond. He was my best friend from 9 months before we were even born. He was the troublemaker, and I was the partner in crime. We played our games, pulled our pranks, watched our cartoons, played non-stop soccer, broke so many vases and flower pots. We fought, we cried, we made up, we played again. We grew up. It was everything a brother could be. Sometimes we got asked, how does it feel like to be a twin? My first thoughts didn't have much depth. I just thought it was awesome because I always had a play partner. But on a deeper level, having a twin meant I was never alone in my childhood. I always had a best friend and someone had my back whenever I got into trouble. Well, having a twin is cool, but having Amir as your twin is something else. Because if you got to know him, you had no idea what you got yourself into. He was mischievous. Not the kind where he would play mind tricks on you, but the person who pranked you so bad that you'd be shocked and angry. He was delicately playful, handsomely troublesome, and joyfully lighthearted. His pranks, jokes, and tricks were endless and ongoing on a daily basis. I remember when we were kids, he would hide in a dark room and patiently, wait and listen to my footsteps as I walk into the room. And right before I was going to flip the light switch on, he'd jump out, scaring the bejesus out of me. I'd scream, he'd laugh, my heart would be beating so fast, I'd just start chasing him and trying to inflict the same pain he just caused me. At some point, every time I wanted to walk into a room, I knew he was already there. When he jumped out, I'd just turn the light on and go on about my business, not fazed and scared at all. One day he just gave up scaring me and started targeting the rest of the family. My nephew can attest to that. I remember the first time we watched Batman animated cartoon together, he turned around and asked me who's my favorite character. I told him Robin's my favorite character. Robin was genuine. He was there when Batman needed him. So I asked Amir back about his favorite character in the cartoon. I was expecting he's gonna say Batman. He turned around and said that his favorite character was the Joker. Man, that made so much sense. He took so much joy in scaring me and his friends. Just producing that psychological response from others gave him such an adrenaline, he would just instantly be laughing. And as much as I want to believe he's not here with us anymore, I'm waiting, I'm hoping, and I'm wishing this is just another prank of his. That he'd jump out of the dark room, maybe show up tonight, telling each and all of us, I got you suckers. He really was a comedian at heart, regardless of whether you were having a good or bad day. Everyone would laugh at his comments and impressions of others. He was so full of life, unaffected by everyday bad news and tragedies. He'd keep his candle of life burning, shining light for all of us. I remember the day he came up to me and told me, "Dude, I found my passion. You don't know how good it feels." At that stage, he was just starting to study to become a mortgage broker. So I asked him, "Mortgage brokerage?" He was like, "No, screw that, languages." I was in awe. Amir was fluent in Farsi, English, French, German, and Spanish. He spoke a good amount of Turkish too. He would Airbnb his room to international travelers to get to know them and assist them in learning English. He held language meetup events every Thursday night for polyglots, people who know multiple languages, to gather together in a warm atmosphere and make friends while learning something new. Amir also loved exploring and found peace in solitude. He really cared about the health of the body and the mind. His eating habits were strict and perfectly portioned. That was his attitude towards his work too. A very meticulous attitude towards getting things done the right way. He loved documentaries and Lord of the Rings. A part-time chef, he'd bake his own bread and make his own pizza. He always said when you cook at home, it tastes better, it's healthier, and most importantly, it saves you money. His relaxed perspective on life was, and is most admiring to me. There's no way to really express how devastated we are for such an immense loss in our lives, but we can only adapt to a new reality. For me to do that, I've decided to write a letter to Amir, my twin brother. I hope he's with us now. Amir, my brother. There was a lot that I didn't understand. When we humans don't understand something, we tend to get agitated by it. The day you left us, you became the greatest teacher, the most educating instructor of my life. You may have been the youngest, but you became the wisest. You taught me that love wins. You taught me that no matter what circumstances we are in, if we truly love each other, we'd be there for each other, and that we would put aside all of our differences and focus on our similarities. You taught me that if someone is shutting me out, I still need to try and be a friend. You taught me that if walls exist, we are meant to break them. You taught me that life can be taken seriously. You taught me that life is meant to be full of jokes, joy, and fun, that I've been taking it too seriously. You taught me to explore, not only to discover new and interesting findings, but to absorb and learn. You taught me that staying curious is key to self-betterment and self-fulfillment. You taught me that we learn to speak through kindness and not through words. And finally, you taught me the hardest lesson of life, that each of us are a living tragedy, waiting for our turn to be out of our misery. You taught me that I need to deal with that reality. Thank you, my brother, for you were the greatest, most wisest man in my life. I hope you forgive me for what I felt short of in being the best brother that I could be, and I hope I can make it up to you on a sunny day when we're united again. Until that day, brother. Until that day. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to be the last person to speak. I'll try to printed so many pages, but I'm going to be doing some self-censorship. But after my speech, we're going to have a fantastic musician, our family friend, Mr. Ali, asked me to perform some traditional Persian music, which was Amir's latest passion. And he was We knew it because when he was taking a shower, the whole neighborhood could hear it. So we're going to hear that, and we're going to enjoy that new wall. If anyone, if you would like to get some tea or coffee or water, please do so. All right, let's do this. Thank God I wrote it. Can't improvise right now. If there's one thing I know about myself is that I love deadlines and waiting for last minute tasks to stress out and finish the job, but perhaps this has been the most difficult task to accomplish in my entire life. To write a note or a speech to introduce my baby brother in front of a crowd in such a beautiful room when it's not his wedding. The reason we decided to have an event like this was not just to celebrate his short but amazing life, but also to introduce his larger-than-life character to his various social groups. We have been naturally speaking about Amir constantly in the past few weeks, and in almost every instance, the reaction was surprised people who didn't know how many different fields he was not only interested, but he was good at. I don't really have a structured speech with a body in conclusion. It may seem like 1,000 sparks of memories, thoughts, experiences, but this is exactly how we can portray our emotion and existence during these unimaginably difficult times, so I apologize. Moments like this, the only thing that comes to our mind are questions, tons of questions, like a child who answers, and any explanation given to them, and they just respond, why? I feel like that child, why? Why him? Why now? And many more. The sense of awe and dread tends to get a bit morbid but realistic. I have hundreds of questions and I know the answers. As Rumi says, look for the answer in the heart of your questions. But how did he feel? What happened after that? How did he die? I apologize if I sound a bit morbid, but these were the questions when you lose your flesh and blood that comes to your head. So I started Googling what happens to our bodies the moment we die. Why does it look like that? Why is that color? Why do we look pale? I'm not going to share everything about, but like there's one thing that kind of got my attention is that the first thing that happens to our bodies is that the entire blood in our body follows the gravity in whatever direction or position we are, hence the paleness. But when I was thinking about it, our hearts are in a constant fight with the gravity to get our blood flowing and avoid staleness and death. The normal resting heart rate is between 60 to 100 beats per minute. In fact, since we started this event, our hearts are beating around 6,500 or 6,750 times. That is 6,500 chances to live, laugh, to hold someone, to tell someone you love them, and to cherish every moment Mother Nature has given you. Next time someone is wasting your time or trying to make you mad for measly worthless things, count your heartbeat. It's precious, don't waste it. Amir, my love, I miss you, and I hope our hearts can beat to your beautiful rhythm forever. Since childhood, Amir was a perfect source of beautiful paradoxes, extremely shy, yet extremely hilarious. No patience for time-wasting day-to-day chores, yet utterly focused on what truly mattered to him, which was learning. Exceptionally down-to-earth and humble, yet very successful in competitive sports and so on. Amir and Amit both had a thick skin going through public schools in the north side of Halifax when they moved to Canada. No language skills, completely different social educational standards, and to be honest, not surrounded in the most nurturing school environment. But they somehow managed to become the best students, raise the bar for themselves, their friends, and get closer to who they wanted to be. When they finally moved West Coast with my family after high school, I could not believe how mature, smart, and forward-thinking they had become. I recall thinking to myself that if I were this entrepreneur when I was their age, I would have been way ahead of my game. They had read any books or biographies by any big names in business, probably had watched every episode of Dragon's Den in the UK and Canada, because the flow of ideas were just off the chart. When we were on TV a couple of days after the incident, the interviewer kept asking me what was one thing that would stand out in his colorful personality, and I honestly could not answer, even though I watched him grow up every day. This man was a chameleon of talents, and I'm not saying it as a brother. Let's point it out. As some of you know, I studied jazz and contemporary studies as well as classical music, and it's always been my first love. And I can tell you As someone who's dealt with many musicians, from hobbyists and rockers to professional session musicians, Amir had it in his blood, in his body. I would play a song, he would move his big eyebrows with rhythm. He had huge eyebrows. And grab his guitar and play better than me. I would say, wait, you can't play like that. I still had student loans to pay. So unfair. He was the master entertainer of the house. Any song my parents enjoyed, he would play for them. Slowly he overcame his shyness and we could hear his gorgeous voice. Now, if you give me 2 minutes, let's watch the very last video that he recorded that we didn't know it was in Turkish, that we didn't know he was learning. But Carolina recorded this Carolina recorded this a day before they flew. In fact, he was wearing the same clothes when he passed away. Amir had a very accommodating and kind personality. It makes you feel comfortable and at home even if you met him the first time ever. You were surprised to see so many people from Europe had contacted to express their sorrows for our loss, as they had hosted Amir on his Euro trip a few years back. Quite a few people stayed with him in Vancouver when he was hosting Airbnb guests for some time as well. Even my cat, who behaved differently with every single family member, would play with him like he's another cat. They would chase each other around the house until Amir would grab a pillow and hold in front of his legs as a sign of truce. Amir genuinely enjoyed having a good time with other people, and every joy in life seemed to be exaggerated and better with his presence. We would at times find hilarious videos online and sport highlights or musical performances and then suggest to watch it together. At times he would pretend like he hadn't watched it so he could watch it with me again and have a first laugh together. If you had met him even once, you could sense that he had a fantastic sense of humor, something that we have taken after both of my parents. But his humor was different. His giggle was contagious. There were times that we would start laughing at something simple and stupid and then would escalate into a non-stop face-hurting laugh. So we'd have to be in different rooms to let it stop, because we thought we actually going to hurt ourselves. In some of the most intense situations, he would respond with the most unexpected and hilarious reaction. Every message I had from him was either mimicking a horn instrument, or a joke, or some wacky accent. He would laugh with his eyes and his soul, and sometimes with his knees. When he found something outrageously funny, he would just kneel on the ground and roll like a baby. I'm really not sure if it's something that would help us cope in the long run, but I can say that's what we miss the most: the soul, the fire, the clown. Undisciplined. Amir was carefree soul and free spirit, but sometimes extraordinarily disciplined. I recall when he was staying at my place a few days before the accident. I woke up early morning to start my day, and I saw him in the kitchen studying with such tenacity, as if he had an exam or deadline coming up. I said, "Morning, what you doing?" He said, "Well, I'm working on my German." I said, "Why, you got an exam?" He said, "No, because it's awesome." Did you know that in German, this phrase means completely different than that? And he was genuinely excited. 6:30 in the morning, he was learning German proverbs, I don't know why. And he would go on, and I would say, "Hey man, I don't know how you do it, but I need an hour or 4 ounces of espresso just to remember my own name." If you wanted to know a language, he would master it. If you wanted to work out, he would spend hours researching what's best for him. If you wanted a certain diet, you could not even once make him break it. In fact, he would voluntarily write up different diets for different members of the family and leave it in the fridge. His determination in learning was exceptional, and that's why we decided to establish the Amir Sedghi Foundation. While it seems like the darkest luck in the universe has hit our family, it also has been heartwarming to see how many caring and loving individuals has been around my parents from day one and continue to do so. I believe this beautiful energy and motivation to help, to love, to care is created by Amir, and we have a duty to transform this energy into betterment of our society and our world. And last, I guess it's on destiny. It's one of the biggest dilemmas of humans from the beginning. Do we have any control over our destiny, or is it all decided? Why would we be here and not him? Is it all a matter of chance? Is there a point in living good and healthy if it's decided when we're all going to go? In fact, I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but there were 4 people on the plane, and 3 of them passed away. And that one individual who is alive, he's here in the room. And he came all the way from Portland to see us. So I was thinking, when they told me, they gave me the news that the plane has gone down and one person has survived, I made all sorts of deals with God. I said, listen, if he loses his limbs, that's fine. If he loses his legs, I'll put him on a wheelchair and move him. I don't know, if he goes in coma, I'll sit next to his bed. Like, always making all sorts of deals. But knowing Amir, how proud, how perfectionist he was, he wouldn't want to be. He wanted to be 100 or nothing. And the reality of it is that it's just, incident that has happened to us. There is no different if we had to pack our bags to go to another city or someone else's funeral. It's the same. We're all humans. We all lose. It's just really unfortunate that has happened to us and to Amir. I'm not a religious person or a big fan of heaven and hell concepts, neither was Amir, but I like to believe that this universe had more to it than our measly understanding of physics and the universe. The law of conservation of energy. Newton's second law states that the acceleration of an object is proportional to the force acting on it, and inversely proportional to its mass. This law can be used to help show that conservation of energy, which tells us the total energy of isolated system remains constant over time, is true. How can an energy that bestowed us 26 years of motivation, movement, and life be nullified in a moment. It may be transferred from one form to another, but it cannot be created or destroyed. Sure, it's changed the shapes and forms, but we cannot conceive, but whatever it is, I know it will be helping and loving all humans the way he always did, the way he was. Amir had the habit of writing his thoughts and ideas, but the only booklet that he had with him in Burns Lake in the hotel that they stayed before the crash was this blue book from a few years back, which I took the liberty of reading it. It's pretty personal, and heartbreaking, but I think I want to share a couple of lines with you. I have a lot to say. None of my family members or nobody else has read this book. Sorry. He says, tonight as I was listening to Sharon Nazeri, he's a Persian traditional singer, the lyrics somehow forced me to imagine 20 years later, when I'm in my 40s, and everyone's old, and I'm looking at my parents' faces, that is wrinkled and old, and thinking about this sacrifices and hardship they had to undergo to immigrate to Canada, and my life, and steer my life in a direction that has given me an opportunity to touch the lives of so many people. Because that is why I've been created to do. That is why I exist. So it was a flash of foreseen reality that makes me wonder. Every moment of my life is precious, emotional, full of laughter, lessons, growth personally, physically, and mentally, and enriching the lives of so many people with the force of good. P.S. I cried and felt instantly alive. I'm not going to read the second page, I don't think I can handle it, but I just want to say a very interesting thing. At the end of the book, it says, it's my life, my book, and he has a bucket list. His bucket list is the things that he accomplished, that he was doing. Speaking Spanish, dancing salsa, public speaking without fear, playing music, and he, in bracket, small celebrity kind of thing. Get fit with people and making a social aspect, going to the gym, but it shouldn't be the only sport. And the last one is wolf whistle. And I guess that's what Paris taught him. Every day he had a song that he covered. The last song of this book is Fly Me to the Moon. Can you play it, please? I would like us to just listen to the lyrics. And again, not trying to be superstitious, but how can this be the very last song he wanted to play?
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song, let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you.
Last but not least, to my family, my parents. I wanted to say I love you, and I'm standing up straight with my head held high up because I can be proud to call you my parents, my brother, my sister. The reason we're all so utterly devastated is because we lost an innocent soul who could inspire people, animal, and nature around him to grow, to be happy, to laugh, to love, and to live. Remember that his exceptional soul was created and nurtured by the two of you. You are the source of love. You are the source of strength that we all need. So not just as your son, but as someone who was fortunate enough to live with Amir for his 26th year of his life, I want to say thank you for giving us this opportunity. Thank you for raising human beings who cared about others. Thank you for being the sun that helps us live and survive despite the immensely dark and gloomy clouds. The reality is that there will be a void in our hearts until the very last day of our lives, but perhaps we can try to channel Amir's amazing energy into our souls to ease the pain, even inspire us to try to live better. We love you, and we're here for you until the very last. Thank you so much. Thank you. I would like to invite Ali to come up here for the performance. You can take photos, but he requested me because these are some new materials that he's working for his new production. Please refrain from taking videos. Thank you so much for respecting it. And thank you so much. Feel free to enjoy the session.
Gracias.